Oh, hey, sorry. So I was busy jamming, hanging out, and headbanging to the theme there. Welcome in, everybody, to the Thursday night tag team. I am Big Mike. We are here with Mr. U, as always. Mr. U, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Glad to be with you guys. Let's talk some wrestling, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's do it.
Big stuff. Sped, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm always great when I get to hang out with you guys, talk a little bit of wrestling, and can't forget about EC down there. EC, how you doing tonight?
I'm good, and use more hype than usual.
It's Thursday, man.
That was my Mark Briscoe imitation. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Don't forget about our listeners. You've got Lady Alpha checking in first and foremost. Welcome to the Thursday night tag team. Thank you, Lady Alpha. Please hit like and subscribe. And we do hope you enjoy the show. Leave some comments. Let us know how you feel. Hey, Alpha. There we go again. Hey, y'all.
They love it.
Love to see it. So obviously we had a big pay-per-view over the weekend. Anybody watch any wrestling this weekend?
No.
Yeah.
No. I was super mad about that, too. Super mad.
Somebody was
We got no waxing up there in the mountains, boy.
Anybody saw my Twitter knows how mad I was that day, too.
Oh, you didn't.
He must have blocked
You
me.
saw.
Nothing from actually no comment from him.
You saw wrestling adjacent, right? Because isn't the band you saw, isn't that Soraya's husband's band or whatever, or boyfriend, whatever? Ronnie Radke or something like that. I think so.
wow.
Well, I
Really?
didn't know that. Soraya's married to that Ronnie guy? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's they're either married or that's her boyfriend or something like that. They live together.
She just said that they're not married. She's like, Ronnie's not married.
So yeah, they've been together for a while though.
I don't know, man. I don't care. Listen, I'd rather have been watching AEW. All right.
Why?
Look, I'm with you.
Oh man,
I'm with you, man. I'd have left that for Tech 9.
Yeah. Oh man, Tech 9. When I was liking it, you couldn't even hear Tech. It was a the whole time. I was like, oh my god, you know. That's my tweets were like they were.
So even though Sped didn't get to watch it, we did have a pay-per-view, AEW All Out, and we did have predictions. If you remember last week, and Mr. U was the reigning champion coming into All Out. Was he the champion coming out of All Out? We will find out now as we reveal the standings after AEW All Out. Wait, hold on. Wait, which name is that up top? I can't. Yeah, we talked last week. I can't really read. I'm from Alabama. What does that first name say?
Oh, it says Big Cheater.
Oh, well, Justin. For those of you in the audience who can't read like me, we will make it a little easier. I appreciate Sped. He has done King Mr. U or King U and King Sped. We do now have King Big Mike, AEW King, Roll Tide Alabama with my crown.
Wow.
You know, and as I speak to all my loyal subjects, I can only say that everybody gets lucky every now and then, and this will probably never happen. So I've got to enjoy it while it lasts. I'll probably be dead last every other prediction show, so we won't talk too much about it. But I did get lucky and win the predictions for AEW All Out, and we will talk about the show, kind of match by match. And did anybody really care about the 0 hour at all?
No.
So yeah, I didn't either. They had again a bunch of throw together tag matches, so they could get 20 to 30 people on the show. So we won't go into a lot of time with any of the tags. On the pre-show, they didn't have any storyline reference. Even All In had some storyline reference to it with the Statlander and Willow Nightingale match, which we'll get into here in a little bit. But it's a thing that happened. They did some wrestling matches. People won, people lost. We didn't really look. We didn't pick them, so we will head right to the main card. Everybody good with that?
Yeah, I'm very good with that. Thank you.
All right. So the first one, and we'll kind of go from the bottom up on the graphic. The first match was the 4-way match for the Continental title. It was won by Okada. Mr. Yu, we'll start with you first. What do you think about the match?
Surprise. I mean, the belt on him right now is like, it's not doing anything. It's like there's nothing. There's no real momentum. Now, him and the whole Elite crew has belts, including Jack Perry, the scapegoat. But it's like nothing's happening. So it's like, I'm surprised that they kept the belt on him. But I mean, okay. I guess you guys got that one right? That's what you're saying? You all picked Okada to retain?
I was going to ask you, why didn't you pick your boy?
Huh?
I was going to ask you, why you didn't pick your boy to win this?
You know what? My boy. I did pick my boy.
No, you picked the field.
No, my boy was in the fields.
Oh, okay, my bad. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, he wanted Takeshita to win, I guess. Is that who your pick was, actually?
The only choice I really deserved to win this thing. But that's a whole other story altogether. But yeah, I picked Takeshita, and nothing happened. So I stand by my decision. I ain't backing off of that one. That was the best choice in my opinion. But I missed it. How'd you guys do with this one?
I just got to see stuff on
YouTube. Have you had a chance to go back and watch any of the matches?
Oh boy.
Just on YouTube on the highlights and stuff. That's it.
The highlights.
Yeah. Like people, I didn't get to watch much of it. Like I got to watch some stuff on Twitter and stuff like that, but I didn't get to watch much of it. I did get to see the video of Briscoe making some weird noises, so I thought that was, like, okay, what was that?
What kind of weird noises?
Is that not every Briscoe video that he makes weird noises though?
That's what he does.
Yeah, I know.
I tell you,
what is he doing?
Though. So just to piggyback off that point before you go any further, could you imagine how amazing a tag team between Mark Briscoe and Tama Tonga would be?
Oh,
you wouldn't understand anything they ever said or anything, but it would be the most entertaining thing in the world.
Yeah, it would. But I mean, overall it was a good match. Lady Alpha's dying, but yeah, no, I don't know, man. I just watched the highlights. I got nothing really to say about it. The Continental title means nothing there. It seems like.
Yeah, you're not into this at all. You're like not even participating. It's like this is just awful.
EC, do you have any thoughts?
Well, if you thought that was awful, I mean, I just want to start this off with I feel like I kind of deserve a 7 on that because I did predict Mr. Yu finishing last place in his territory.
Are you just about me?
Wow.
Dang.
Why are you predicting? Wait. Let me see if I understand this. Okay, so right now,
here's the thing.
Before this happened, you were one of the royal subjects like everybody else. And all of a sudden, you want to turn on me and stab me in the back? Why? What have I done?
Because
have I not provided for you?
Because I think it's fair
to say
he
didn't do the first one.
I think it's fair to say that on an AEW show, I shouldn't be finishing ahead of anyone.
Yeah, but how you predicting that I'm going to lose and be at the end? Why would you? I don't understand what have I done wrong exactly? I'm missing something.
Well, because they were saying that you were the king of AEW here, so
I didn't give myself that name.
Well, to his credit, he was the king of AEW because he won All In. He won that prediction show, so he did have the street cred. Or at least the Thursday night tag team cred to be the king because he did win.
I'm not even the prince of predictions. What are you talking about? Why are you coming at me? There's a certain person on his panel that calls himself the king when he wins one prediction.
Well, look, I mean,
I won 2. I went back to back. What are you talking about? I'm still king of WWE. I don't want to hear it.
I don't take that serious. That's why I don't acknowledge it.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm not surprised that Okada won. The Elite, I can't say very much, but I'm not surprised.
So, Mr. Yu, have you had a chance to go back and watch the show? Like, have you actually seen the show as well? because we know Sped and EC have not.
I seen a good bit of the match. I haven't seen. I didn't see all of the. I didn't see the beginning of the Paige Strickland match, but I saw
That was sick.
pretty much everything else. You were sick. Okay, whatever. Yeah, I saw pretty much everything else. I saw the ending of the main event, but I didn't see the beginning.
So we will run through some of the matches because in all fairness, I didn't get a chance to watch the pay-per-view. I have not had a chance to watch all of the matches. I have had a chance to watch some of them. So we will go through and give our thoughts on the matches. Obviously we won't be able to do any expert analysis because we didn't see the show as much as we should have. Going up to the next match was the Young Bucks and the BCC, Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. Obviously, the Young Bucks won there. The Elite keeping all their titles. Do you agree? I guess we will talk more about. Do you agree with the decision for the Young Bucks to keep the titles? And we won't get into what happens later on in the night yet. We will save that for when it happens.
Yeah.
But at the time, do you think that was the right decision for the Young Bucks to go over there? Go first.
Was Castellano and Wheeler got to offer? Yeah, they're not really a cohesive tag team. You got plenty of tag teams over there that you're wasting. Private Party and a bunch of others right now that you could have facing Nick and Matt right now. One of them can actually win and take the tag team division to another level that they're desperately needing. Okay, so yes, it was the right decision for those two to keep the titles because someone worthy, an actual tag team, should take those titles.
EC?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree there because I don't really see it as a win for what's their I can't remember their ring name, but the Young Bucks winning, it makes more sense there because I just, like you said, I don't think that's the team to take it off of them.
Mr. Yu?
Yeah, I felt like it had to stay with them probably for a bigger build-up. You're going to take the titles off of them because they're really running with it right now. I like what they're doing, actually. But they have a team that's going to really be built to knock them off, and the BCC isn't it any longer. And now we see not even a team anymore. So
yeah,
it was the right move in this case to keep the belts with the Bucks.
Yeah, and we'll definitely talk about that second part of that here later on. We can have some
real quick. Are we done with the swing?
Stuff.
Are we done with the swing? I mean, you did it 22 times I've seen on YouTube. Are we done with that by now, or is that going to just stay until he retires?
I'm sure he'll probably do it every now and then. He may not, especially since he's going to turn heel now. With everything else that went on, he may retire it for a little bit since that's a fan favorite move. So he may get rid of it while they're on their heel run, but I mean, he'll definitely bring it back whenever they turn him back to face because it always gets the crowd going so they can count and chant and all that. Moving on to what was one of my favorite matches of the night, Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander in a Chicago street fight. As we mentioned from All In, Willow Nightingale got to choose the stipulation, and she did choose a street fight. This is one of the matches I did get to see a lot of. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good match. I thought the right person went over in Chris Statlander. I think she does a lot more for the title going forward. But EC, thoughts on Statlander winning and going over Nightingale?
I mean, it's nice to see that it finally went with her because I like her. I think that's the right choice, and it's actually great to finally see.
Yep, I agree, Mr. Yu.
Had to happen, so I'm glad about it. I have no idea what her list of this is just a street fight. This thing for the title, which is dang. When I saw the match, I said, "This is not for the title." That's just dumb. So hopefully they don't put keep the title with Willow because that's not like an AEW thing to do. But I thought she won. I was cheering for oh yeah, no belt passing, changing the hands. I'm like, oh, oops.
That's my bad. I thought it was for the CMLL title. I thought it was too. My bad. I missed that as well.
I didn't see any belt change hands. I mean, maybe one of us can confirm it while the show was on the air. But I thought I didn't see that happen. They were just talking about a match between them again afterwards. So I'm like, oh, okay. So if it is for the belt, very, very good. If not, I'm like, oh, what a waste. But I'm glad Stat went over though. That was the right move. She's got a lot of talent, man. Love to see what she can do with this run. And having a heel manager too, yeah, perfect. I like it.
Sped?
This would be, and I'm going to take a little page from EC, women's wrestling. Right, that's what we saw. I got to watch this one on Twitter, on YouTube, and a bunch of other places. Just this match itself, and a couple others. But this one right here was not. It was crazy. It was from beginning to end. You saw two women wanting to steal the show, and that's what EC calls women wrestling. Right, women who go out there, put their heart and soul out there, and steal the show each and every night. Right. And you know what? I'm glad Stat got the win. If they're going for another match, I'm hoping it's a last woman standing match. That would be insane for these two women. And if it's for a title, honestly, I think it should be for a number one contender spot. These two go at it just in a normal match. Boom. Let them two go in a normal match for a number one contender spot for, let's say, the TBS title. All right. And then whoever wins that, let's say Willow wins that, Stat takes the title off of her, TBS champion. I think those two would have a great AEW title match versus CMLL title match. I had to think about how many L's there were in that one.
So definitely, this was definitely a really good match for me. Sorry, did you have a point, Mr. Yu?
No, I would say I counted 6 of those. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So we will jump over and kind of skip around and go to the other female match that was there that night. You did have Mercedes Moné, who did retain her TBS championship over Hikaru Shida. Again, women's wrestling match.
Should have 7 EC. It was one of them that told you to get rid of the CEO and go with Shida unless you did it yourself.
Yeah, I was talked into taking the wild card.
Oh man, that's
I think didn't we all pick the CEO other than him though? Who would have talked him out of?
I don't know who talked him out of it, but yeah, it's got.
Sure, it wasn't he talked himself out of it?
He probably did.
Yeah,
he did the same thing.
I think he talked himself out of it because we all picked Mercedes. So I don't know why one of us would have convinced him otherwise.
I'm going off
the other way.
Time. I'm going off the first time. Okay.
but definitely, I mean, so this one to me wasn't as good of a match. Not one of Mercedes' best matches, in my opinion. Definitely wasn't as good as the other female match, as we just talked about. But I mean, that's kind of my opinion. Mr. Yu, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I feel the same way. At this point, because of how things are being booked, and I guess the little clout she got behind the scenes, she's probably going to have a nice long run. But you want to see good matches, and honestly, she has the pedigree for it. It's hard to find a really bad Sasha Banks match. I don't know the last time I've seen one, but in this case, since she's been over here, I've seen a couple of Mercedes Moné matches that I'm like, ooh, that's steaming hot trash. But that's just my opinion, of course. I don't know anything. I've only been watching for 50 years, but it's hard. And on top of that, we talked about this, I think, 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. The talent level there is like, it's kind of slim. Everybody's kind of segmented with certain titles. So she doesn't have any real contenders unless they start moving folks around, which they need to. So she was like, no offense, man, but it's over. To put her in this match, I'm like, wow, that means you couldn't find anybody else. That's what that tells me. But let's see her face storm. I mean, give me something to excite me.
That's why we're knocking these out first, because I know some of the other matches will hopefully excited you a little bit more.
Not bad.
Do you agree, Sped? You think it was just kind of lackluster? Or?
Once upon a time, we used to call her the second best of the Four Horsemen, or Four Horsewomen. I'm sorry. Right? Mm-hmm. Now she is in dead last. Okay, it goes Charlotte for reasons. Everybody, I don't know why people it would be Becky 1 for me. But Charlotte, Becky, Bailey, Sasha, or Mercedes. I'm sorry. All right. And that's her matches, like he said, since she became the CEO, haven't been great. We thought it was Britt Baker last time. It wasn't Britt Baker. You go back and watch, Mercedes makes some mistakes as well, and it's consistent now. So it's like, get the title off of her. Look, I'm hoping, I'm being for real. I'm hoping they put either Villas or Statlander.
It's funny though.
Go ahead.
EC, do you have any thoughts?
I mean, Sasha Banks clears Mercedes Moné, that's for sure. But I do think, like, off of his comment with Chris Statlander going after, is it really great? Is it really that good of an idea when we know what's going to happen there? I mean, she's not losing anytime soon. And the unfortunate part is, and it's always been this way with her, when someone, or at least ever since she became Mercedes Moné, anytime people don't like her match, it's the other person's fault.
You're right.
So
Proof.
I'm honestly just not. I'm not a fan that much anymore.
All right, there we go. We do have some more checking in. Herb from the Herb and Raj podcast. What's going on, Herb? He said, "What's up, everybody?"
What's good, Herb?
Make sure to check them out on Tuesday nights, 8:00 Central, with the Herb and Raj podcast. Him and Lady Alpha saying hello to each other. We won't go through the whole
There's a whole
detail there. Yeah, we'll kind of speed through it a little bit. But moving right along, we will get to another one of the matches that I thought was really good. I think it ended up having the right winner in MJF and Daniel Garcia. I like that, MJF got the win there. But I do like how Garcia kind of got his lick back after the match just to kind of build him up a little bit more. EC, do you have any thoughts about this match?
I'm interested with the whole, like, how things are going to play out with Garcia and, like, this whole contract thing. So, I mean, not so really surprised that MJF won. And for me, it's like, what's next for MJF also? So, I mean, he's always interesting to me. So, I saw a couple clips on that had me laughing, but yeah, I think MJF was the rightful winner there.
I agree. Sped?
I knew they weren't going to let MJF lose 2 weeks after losing the international or the All-American title. But no, I like that pile driver. I thought that pile driver was pretty cool. Everyone's complaining about it. If it was so bad, MJF would have never signed off on it. So he had to trust him in a certain degree, So I'm actually pretty cool with that. I liked the match. I got to see the highlights of this one. It was actually pretty good. I do want to see Daniel Garcia go after the TNT title, instead of going into the main event picture right away. Let him get the TNT title, let him hold that for a little bit, or the international title, let him hold that for a little bit. And when Bryan Danielson's done, you move, Garcia up and then Will up, and so, but yeah, no, I thought it was a great match. And I thought Garcia hitting that pile driver, man, I thought that was funny. Not funny, but I thought it was dope.
Definitely missed you.
Yeah, well, I'm probably the only one that picked up against MJF. I just thought the story would be better if it wasn't him that won. Him going on a little bit of a losing streak, he can really freak out, go on for everybody, start smashing all the other wrestlers. I thought it was better cinema, and that's kind of how my predictions go. But it's all good.
See, so and that's kind of what I've done the past few weeks, and I completely understand it because I don't necessarily disagree with that point. I think Garcia winning here and then, letting MJF go, apparently, since I've heard rumors that he's supposed to be taking some time off, let Garcia get his win here. Let, MJF come back in a few months when he's done taking time off, get revenge there. Garcia looks stronger. So I don't necessarily disagree with that, but this is kind of one of the ones where I let my head get out of it. And just knowing what AEW's been, they weren't, again, I didn't think they'd let MJF lose again. So I could definitely see where you were going with that, because if I was trying to think about it and think about how I would book it, I would probably have done the same thing. But unfortunately, we don't book AEW.
Fair. I was just shooting for the maximum amount of chaos, so that's what I was shooting for.
Oh, trust me, we're getting to plenty of chaos. But before that, you do have the international title, not the All-American title anymore, since Will Ospreay won from MJF at All In. You had Will Ospreay versus Pac in an international title match. Ospreay picks up the win after a really, really good match, probably match of the night for me. A lot of action. Look, when you hear these two wrestlers on a card, you know it's going to be a good match. I don't know that those two can have bad matches, in my opinion. You guys may disagree when we get to you, but yeah, I mean, to me, this is probably one of the best matches on the card. It's the right decision keeping Will Ospreay in the win, especially with what comes, a little later on in the night. But what did you guys think, Sped?
Oh, I love this match. Again, like you said, anytime you have Ospreay versus Pac on the card, it's going to be genuine. It's going to be amazing. That Poison Rana that Pac did to Will, and Will landed it. I thought that was beautiful. It was a beautiful setup. These two could be fighting for the Continental title or whatever Okada owns, and it still put on a great match. And make that title feel like the international title. I like this. You're probably right about being match of the night. It was slightly better than the women's street fight. I thought that was really good, but this one might have taken the cake.
EC?
Well, I mean, I think with these two, that's definitely one of those matches where like you never know what's coming next from either one. So I don't know that there's really like a bad choice on like picking either one to win, but having Ospreay win definitely makes more sense to me.
Okay. Mr. Yu, what do you think about the match?
Yeah, fantastic match. Probably the match of the night for me too. Are they pushing Ospreay to the moon? That's what they should do, as evidence from last night. But they pushed him to the moon, and you know what? Strap a rocket on that boy. I mean, he's gold, man. Go ahead and work it. So Pac never really had a chance. I never had a inkling that he was going to actually win this match. But fantastic match. My favorite, number one so far out of all the matches on the card.
I couldn't agree more. We will move on to the next match, which, the aftermath of probably creates the most drama within the company as far as kayfabe is concerned. You have Bryan Danielson versus Jack Perry for the AEW World Championship. Bryan Danielson obviously wins. Before we get to what happened after the match, what did you think about the match itself? EC, we'll let you go first.
They beat the hell out of each other. And that whole Bryan being champion interests me, just because I'm wondering how long they're gonna have that actually be a thing. And having Jack Perry as his first opponent in Chicago was kind of funny too. But also, like, I saw videos of what happened after fact. Like, I thought that was a brilliant move, honestly. Them turning on him.
Yeah.
It definitely makes more of the babyface push.
Definitely. Spade, do you agree?
Okay, so how far did Jack Perry fly after he got hit with the running knee? Seriously, that dude went clear across the ring, and still great. He put on a good match against one of the goats of wrestling. Okay, we gotta give Jack Perry what it's due. He played the crowd on the whole, oh, you're a dude, you're a butthead, blah blah blah. CM Punk situation, Chicago. He played that whole thing perfectly, but he sold everything like rent was due, and he made Daniel Bryan look good, but Bryan Danielson, I should say, made Jack Perry look better in this, and then whenever we start talking about the ending, we'll talk about that, but Jack Perry put on a great match. Everybody still hates on him. Don't get why. Kid's getting better and better each and every time we see him. And I mean, he's a future AEW World Future. I ain't saying now. Future AEW World Champion.
It's not the first time.
For
Never
I guess for a rebuttal there, will Mr. Yu, the floor is yours. Do you feel the same way?
Never gonna happen. I'll just comment on that part right there. It's never gonna happen. But match was good though. You know, my guys in that match, so I was already invested in that. Like I said last week, him being the challenger for him after this big match that he had to win the championship. Jack Perry was. I was kind of underwhelmed. Like, huh? This a joke? Like y'all pranking me? It just
no. I'm still laughing at Nick. I can't.
Yeah,
real quick. I just want to throw this idea out. Every time he mentions a future something, that needs to be remembered because it's not a good list.
Well, Lashley got his due finally.
Huh?
Anyway, go ahead.
Okay.
I don't. Okay.
All right, back to this match. So I agree that the match was really good. I honestly think, and I'm not saying this doesn't take away from the match that they put on, but I honestly think the only reason Jack Perry was in this match is because of who he is and because of the CM Punk drama. They wanted him in a world title shot in Chicago, and I honestly believe in that Tony Khan and Jack Perry and the company wanted to do that as a big FU to CM Punk in his hometown. Yep. Hey, the guy that essentially put you out of our company is now getting a world title shot. Yay, lost. But again, it doesn't take away from how good of a match it was. But again, Bryan Danielson is kind of the same way we talk about Ospreay. I don't know that he can have a bad match. I mean, you could put him in there with pretty much anybody. He's going to get a good match out of him. I don't know that I've seen any, if many, bad Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan matches going back to his WWE days. So, but the more interesting part of this, other than Jack Perry being his opponent, was the turmoil and the altercation afterwards. It starts out Christian Cage coming down. He acts like he's going to trade in his title shot that he won in the Gauntlet at All In. You have the BCC, which is Bryan Danielson's stable at the time, with Moxley, Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and now Pac come out and kind of stand between them like they're going to defend him, get in the ring, and then basically destroy Bryan Danielson and turn on him, holding back Wheeler Yuta. Wheeler Yuta did not turn him. That's obviously an interesting point because they are the Trios champions as well. Castagnoli, Yuta, and Pac are the Trios championship. So it brings up questions. What happens to the Trios championship now, since that group is now splintered? And what happens going forward with Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson in the BCC? What did you think about how they handled that angle and about the BCC and Bryan Danielson going forward, Mr. Yu?
Honestly, I was a little bit shocked. I feel like the whole end game is to put the title on Moxley. That's what I think this is all about. I guess if anybody can take the company to the next level after Bryan is gone, I guess that'd be great. But I think for me, I wanted him to, and I even predicted it, or I said, I hope this happens when he won it, he would just drop it. If you guys recall that, after he won it, he would just drop it. And because I don't want to see, quote unquote, Moxley retire him. I just don't want it. I'm sure that's great cinema and the kind of chaos I was talking about before, but personal ties being involved with him and I don't want to see that happen. But it seems that that's the route that they're going. That's why this whole thing is going on. So in that regard, I guess the end game, it's a nice start to what they're trying to accomplish. But as far as the angle, I'm not quite sure what we're looking at. I guess this is you just need the serious button-up wrestlers. Like they don't like people playing around and having comedy spots. They want real wrestlers and stuff. So I guess that's what the theme of this is. And you know what? I kind of like the idea. I think it's pretty cool. Their stable can be huge.
Yeah.
Guys that just about wrestling and not all of the nonsense. Like, for example, I just commented here, this guy would never be in a group. He'd never be in Moxley's group. You
This
know
is
why?
the comment he's referring to. We appreciate it. That Joe Hendry is the Deadpool of wrestling. So
He made EC leave.
He never make it. Wow. He said, I can't. He said, I said, I can't stand it. He left. See, he doesn't believe in Joe Hendry. That's why that's happened.
oh, there he is, back again, like he never left.
I tried to read the comment and it kicked me out.
That's all right. Trust me, we got you on comments. We'll make sure they're up there. We'll put it back up there so you can see it.
Yeah.
What best
I guess
part
that really
about
just goes on whether you like Deadpool or not. I mean, are you a huge fan of Deadpool?
Deadpool's cool.
So I guess that would be kind of whether it's a positive or a negative. But EC, before you take yourself out again, what'd you think of the match?
The Bryan match?
Or I'm sorry, what do you think about the aftermath of them turning on him?
I
Sorry.
mean, I'm kind of there also where I'm like, I can't really like figure out where, like, what the specifics of what's coming next with that. But I do think, like, if this is Bryan's final run, it makes a lot of sense because now, like, that championship is like, it's just him. He's on his own, this massive baby face. So from that aspect, I think it makes a lot of sense for that.
Okay, there's another comment. The Christian and MJF are better heels than Jericho.
Listen,
I don't necessarily agree with that or disagree. I'm sorry, I don't necessarily disagree with that.
That list has 50 people in it, at least.
Yeah, I know this is the first time I've seen you comment. So you're not going to find a whole lot of Jericho fans on this panel, so we're not really going to disagree with that statement at all. So we appreciate it, and we wholeheartedly agree. But Sped, kind of jumping to you. What do you think about the angle after the match with the BCC turning on Danielson?
The one part I like is that Daniel Bryan doesn't like plastic bags, and what did he get choked out with?
That's definitely a way to look at it.
That's the new Daniel Bryan, by the way.
That's the new Daniel Bryan.
And to be clear, for those of you who are just tuning into us for the first time, that answer is probably the most sped answer you will ever get. So if you ever need a snippet of what the show is like from Sped's point of view, you can't get better than a comment like,
exactly,
Daniel Bryan hates plastic bags, so it's cool that he got choked out with a plastic
bag. Yeah.
All right.
I
kind of agree with a lot of what you guys said. I mean, I think that the angle makes a lot of good storyline sense. I think there's a lot of different ways you can go. It asks a lot of questions. We've talked a lot about, AEW and their title holders kind of being caught up in 2 or 3 different storylines. That does do that a little bit here with the trios title, especially with them being apart now. Do they relinquish them? Do they still try to defend them 2 on 3? There's a lot of ways you can go with that. But the main storyline of Moxley and Daniel Bryan Danielson, kind of culminating in that, I think is again going to be a great match. 2 of the best, professional wrestlers in the world for the biggest title in AEW and really the biggest title in wrestling, saying you got to retire one of the all-time greats for Moxley. I think that once you get there, I think that'll be really, really cool. I'm not sure with what happened on Wednesday that I like the way that they're getting there. I had a comment, or I had a conversation with somebody on Twitter earlier. For those who haven't seen it, this past Wednesday on Dynamite, Moxley has challenged Darby Allin to a match for his number 1 contendership or his title match. And I'm just not a huge fan of that kind of angle. I said it a few years ago when WWE were having Money in the Bank winners put up their Money in the Bank briefcase in matches. That just makes you look like an idiot, to be completely honest. Like, why would I put up my number 1 contender's title in any match? Because I've already earned it. And I just don't understand that part of it. And you guys can comment on that if you have any other thoughts other than that. But I don't like that part of it. But I do like the fact that we are going to get Moxley and Danielson at some point. What do you guys think about how we're getting there with Darby Allin potentially losing his spot in a match that he's already earned?
I don't think he loses it. I
think they set it up. Do you think he wins?
Way. Yeah, I think they set it up in a different way. Like, Brian comes out, causes Moxley, and then they set it up with just the BCC, which going back to your, hey, how did they get rid of the trios titles? I don't think they get rid of those either off of them. They beat Wheeler up and then introduce someone else who is straight grabs, like what Mr. Yu said, build it around pure wrestling. Shelton Benjamin has been rumored to go to AEW for a while now. He'd be great in the BCC because he is old school and that type of combat. There's a lot of guys out there that could be coming in, to take Wheeler's spot, and Wheeler could go somewhere else, because there's not a lot of fans for Wheeler Yuta anyway out there.
So I think the only problem with that is AEW has shown, even in the recent history, especially with the trios tags, that even if somebody gets hurt or somebody can't be included in the team, that they strip the titles, kind of like the same thing they did with the Bang Bang Gang when Jay White got hurt.
Yeah,
they didn't let them kind of quote unquote hand it off to somebody else.
No, I feel
and go that way. They made them defend them again. So I don't see them doing it that way just because it would break kind of what they had. Mr. Yu, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I think EC kind of hit it for me. This, I think it was EC that said it. They hit it. The way that they hit it with it, we kind of see what it's going to be, but I don't know. I don't see how Darby retains this unless we're talking about somebody interfering in this match. Aside from that, just straight wrestling. This is not. Darby's going to get smashed. So I'm not quite sure what's going to happen. It's really hard to guess. I'm glad I don't have to predict that part. I have no idea which way they're going to be going with this, but I'm not impressed by that part right now. But that's just we'll see. We'll watch and see.
Definitely, and that moves us on to the main event, the unsanctioned steel cage match with Hangman Page and Swerve Strickland. Adam Hangman Page gets the victory after what can only be described as a brutal match on both ends. I mean, again, it really just kind of depends on the kind of wrestling you like to watch, whether you like this match. I've seen it's been very polarizing online from people that I've seen and talked to. But we will go with EC. What did you I'm sure you've seen highlights, things like that. EC, what did you think about the match?
I mean, I saw highlights, and I mean, I just think, like you said, it comes down to what you like, right? But me, coming across, that specific part of the match online and seeing a needle be shoved into a guy's mouth, I was cutting it off after that. I wasn't watching no more. So I'm not even gonna lie. I don't even know how this ended, because once I saw that, I was like, nope, I'm done here. And
that's a fair point. I did see a lot of that online.
I don't even know. I know earlier in the week you told me to come up with a clean way to say this, and to this day I still can't think of anything. So,
Lady Alpha definitely shares your sentiment that it is gross.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. It's weird and it's gross.
It's a cool t-shirt. Needles are yucky. That'd be a great t-shirt.
Yucky.
That's good stuff. Maybe we can make that into the first Thursday night tag team merch shirt.
Just break me off a little bit of the profit. Just break me off a little bit. Just a little bit. I don't need 50%. Just put me off a little profit. You don't get paid. Y'all can get paid for that t-shirt. Needles are yucky. I like it.
Yucky.
Sped, what'd you think?
I mean, I went back and I watched this stuff, and yeah, you're right. Needle in the mouth. That was just gross. But this just reinforces that this is a bigger indie product than to be a number 2 behind WWE. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, really not, but it really is. It's more of a big indie promotion rather than a number 2, a true number 2 to WWE right now. And the ending, this is how it ended, EC. The ending with the chair shot going and breaking over Swerve's head. Come on, man. We live in a world right now where CTE is one big stud. Like people are getting 100% with it right now. You know, like everybody's knowledge on it is actually starting to come around, and you don't want to mess up one of your best. I'm not saying the best, but one of your best wrestlers right now that's going to make you money. You're going to put him in that type of danger, you know, with that unprotected. And then what was it? Some lady screamed in the stands when Hangman started making his way back to the ring, and he stopped and was like, "Oh God, I'm a bad guy now," or something like that. Like, it was a great match, but they didn't have to put all the extra in there. You could done the whole power bomb to the cinder block and done the other stuff, but you didn't need the needle, and you definitely didn't need the chair shot to make this match what it was, and it was really good with just some weird stuff happening in the middle, you know?
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. You agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't have to say anything else, but I'm going to say something about Spare's comment. Man, that was the best comment you ever had in your life.
It just took a needle to bring it out.
I know, man. As soon as I seen the needle, I was like, it's on.
I was going to ask you if you read it from somewhere, but I wouldn't insult you like that. That was amazing, man. That was good.
I screenshot it.
When you guys record the clip and send it out on social, send that part out. That's spot on. That's
I'm
amazing.
sitting here reading from my notes and stuff like that because
He practiced.
I did. I really did too. I ain't gonna lie. I practiced on this one.
I agree with you.
So I guess the main thing now is we need to start having rehearsals every Tuesday.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I'm not busy every Tuesday that you have a rehearsal.
And I definitely agree. I mean, and this kind of goes into one of the other points we want to talk about. Is did AEW go too far with the violence in general? I mean, we talked about putting a plastic bag over somebody's head, the needle to the mouth, the chair shot to the head, and those are the main three that I look at that you don't see in other street fights and things in other companies. Like I didn't see anything in the Willow and Stat match that you wouldn't see somewhere else. I mean, yeah, you don't see thumbtacks a lot in WWE, but they do some other goofy things with Legos or other different things that you could be kind of substitute those for. The rest of that match, the cinder block, yeah, that it could be a little much, but the moves that they did on the cinder block were fairly safe.
Yep.
As far as that's concerned. But do you think that, and I think we can all agree based on everybody's comments, that AEW has a tendency to go too far with the violence just to get the shock value?
Sped said it, man. What Sped said is exactly the answer. That's my answer. They act like an indie organization. They act like MLW or something. No offense. But what are y'all doing? You try to be number two, but this is not how you can be number two for real in the way you don't want to be number two. That's what's happening right now. That was the example, that bag with a head thing. Y'all joked about it, but that's messed up.
It is messed up.
No, I'm with you.
I ain't lying. It is messed up.
There's no guarantee somebody's unconscious. I mean, in a real situation, people don't see it, so I get killed like that. That's not no guarantee gonna be unconscious. I mean, that's like attempted murder type stuff. You talking about burning somebody's house down?
Yep.
I saw the and I know it might have been kayfabe, but I saw the it was a story. It wasn't 60 Minutes. It was something like that though. And it was actually on the news, and they showed Swerve, and it had a whole big deal for him and the community involvement with his house and everything. And then you can go burn the house down. Like, what? That could have been a work, man, but that kind of stuff, add that with the plastic bag, I mean, trying to attempt to murder somebody and then take the needle in somebody's mouth. 3 strikes and you out, dude.
Yep.
You out. That's ridiculous. That's too much. Way too much.
I saw this thing on Twitter the other day. It said something on the line, what you're talking about. But AEW is just a ECW on steroids. You saw some crazy stuff in ECW. Yes, you saw people going through flaming tables, numerous of tables at one time, chairs being thrown in other people's faces. But that's before CTE was being looked at the way it is today. Okay. I also saw this other thing on Twitter that actually made me think. AEW does a lot of let me try to one up. Everyone's trying to one up each other. Okay, Daniel Garcia doing the second rope pile driver to the bag over the head, and Cassiano keeping the people away type of deal. And then you got the needle in the mouth and the chair over the head. They're just trying to one up each other, and I don't agree with that. You don't have to one up each other in those type of spots. You can make a beautiful match happen, like Pac and Will Ospreay, for instance. They didn't need all the extra. They needed their flipping, their grabs, and they could tell a story with what they're doing in the mat right there. They don't need the extra needle through the mouth. And I didn't think Hangman and them needed that either. I thought that match was actually phenomenal besides those spots. Other than that, AEW is probably it's the best indie show out here. It's getting a lot of publicity,
Well, and one of the reasons I asked the question, and I saw a story, obviously the media rights deals coming up, or the negotiations are going on between AEW and the WB. And EC, I'll let you start with this one since you didn't get a chance to comment on the last one. But part of the negotiations are now AEW with Fox to have a show on Fox to maybe replace SmackDown when it leaves, called Shockwave. And it brings to mind with the censorship that Fox did on WWE, with blacking out the screen whenever the crowd chanted obscenities or anything like that. Is there any chance that as currently built, the way with the pay-per-view we just saw, is there any way in the world that you think Fox would take a chance on an AEW the way it is right now? And you see, I'll let you go first.
I've been thinking about it for the past couple of days, but I don't see any way logically how someone at whoever's making these decisions at Fox can be like, okay, we're going to let SmackDown and WWE go, but we can pull something off here with AEW because, obviously depending on the day of the week, I don't even think it matters the day of the week. And ain't nobody, staying up late at night to watch some knockoff AEW show on Fox, especially if it's like a Friday night with where SmackDown used to be. But realistically, I don't see them pulling the trigger on that because I just don't see how AEW can benefit Fox in any way.
Mr. Yu?
I don't see it. They're trying. I would love to say that, they're trying to rely on their wrestling. We talked about this several months ago when we first started the show about which organization does stories better, mat wrestling, that kind of stuff. And we kind of broke it down between the two. We didn't include TNA in that one. But the rate that they're going, the level that they're heading in, like you said, with some of the obscenities and they bleeping stuff out every week now on Dynamite, multiple times a week. The only place it's not happening is on Rampage, I think. Maybe Collision too. But the way that they're going, Fox would never ever do this. They're already blanking out SmackDown now. Could you imagine trying to bring that inside there? These guys are trying to go over the top. I think it's going to help them get more eyes on their product. Let's just be fair. We love ECW. A lot of great names came out of there. ECW is not on no more for a reason. You know why? Okay, so trying to model yourself after a organization that didn't work is stupid. So if you're trying to do that, that's a mistake. So hopefully that's not what's happening right now. But Fox is not going to put that. They got too many investors and shareholders. They're not doing that. It's not happening. They got a better chance of getting MLW on Fox than they do on AEW. It's just not happening.
The thing is they don't have to put them on Fox or FS1 itself. They can put them on Tubi. Like there's also it's not just FS1 that they're talking about. They're talking about Tubi as well in this situation, and it's free. Tubi's free. And that's a lot of people get it on Roku and whatnot. Already. So I mean, it could help with reaching a wider audience on a different time slot. But I agree with you. It would be. They need to stay in WB. That's where they're established. I mean, what are you going to do? Call it the Fox title? or Tubi
I mean,
championship.
But even so, it's like that point right there is saying, how does AEW benefit from it? Fox ain't getting nothing out of having AEW on their whatever it may be.
No, but I mean, if you put them on a free platform and see what they do on that free platform, say like Tubi, then you move them over to FS2 or FS1, see what they do there on certain days of the week. And if they're progressing north and not staying at the 600,000 viewer range like they're doing now, then, maybe, but I don't see them progressing north
No,
right now.
that's the whole thing. And like he said, it doesn't matter what they put them on. Is like Fox had WWE so censored.
Yeah.
That, and they do that to AEW, and then it's just gonna piss off the fan base.
And that was kind of more my point, is the fact that AEW wants to be the edgier alternative with the violence, with the cussing, and with the things like that. And that's just stuff. I didn't. And to your point, Sped, and to your credit, I didn't think about the 2B aspect. I'm thinking about them taking a time slot on Fox.
Yeah, no,
maybe not the Friday night, because they're going to start doing some college football stuff now, and they're probably going to put that on Friday night. I don't think they're going to move that back away, because I think the viewership for college football will be better on Friday night than the wrestling show. But I don't think, because of how Fox has censored their wrestling in the past, that's why I think AEW could bring value to Fox. And I actually think Fox could bring value to AEW if they can get them to change and be a little less edgy, a little less of that.
That's where you can put them on Tubi. You can let them be edgy and whatnot on Tubi. It's just like, I mean, I don't know. I see WWE going to Netflix, and they're going to be more, hopefully, they're going to be a little bit more edgy with the adult style, like talking, and you're not hearing bloop, every 5 seconds they're cutting off the mic because of the fans saying things. But, I mean, Tubi could be that platform that they could be that edgy content that they want already,
It also makes you wonder. I was going to say real quick, it also makes you wonder on that point with Raw going to Netflix, if WWE does take that step where they go back to the edginess and the cussing and all that stuff. That's a lot of stuff like that's a lot of what fans that went to AEW leaving WWE wanted. So
yeah,
how much of that can pull them back away from AEW?
I mean, I've heard plenty of reports, though, that they've said behind the scenes that there's not going to be just a free-for-all when it comes to that kind of stuff.
No.
Yeah.
They may use it sparingly, and they definitely, I don't think they will drown out the crowd chants like they've done. I think they'll let those go.
Yeah.
But I think they've already said in just reports that I've heard, things like that they've talked about backstage, that I don't think that they're going to let them just go crazy and say whatever.
Well, and that, I think there's a huge difference. I mean, yeah, you're definitely not going to be getting that bombs and everything, but I also like the wrestlers on AEW, they live for that. Like, they want to do that, as to where I think a lot of people in WWE are more professional than that.
Yeah. Mr. Yu, do you have any final thoughts on the?
No, I think you guys nailed it, man. I just don't see that happening. The Attitude Era was something I remember very fondly, even though I've changed a little bit since then. But I loved it at the time. Not the Katie Vick thing; that was nasty. But just other
Katie Vick,
just other stuff. But I don't know. I just don't. This is the number 2 organization, and they're gonna be that no matter how you line it up. This is not a good way to do it.
TNA might be number 2 now to watch from WWE if you can get a hold of it.
AEW is clearly the number 2. I mean, that's because
people can
let's
watch
not get
it.
it twisted. I mean, let's not get it twisted. The AEW is clearly number 2.
You made the point yourself. People can watch it.
As biased as I am, I even have to say, ain't nobody traveling for a TNA weekend.
No, which is sad because they put on some great matches.
So, and before we get to our final topic, which is our Matchmaker Series we do every week, I did want to get the panel to answer a question from the audience a little earlier. Raj did ask, if a movie version of your life, which wrestler would you want to play you? Anybody have any thoughts off the top of your head?
No, off the
Then
top.
we have to admit that somebody in that realm looks like us.
So I'll go first, since I'm not afraid to answer it, and I'd already thought about it.
They should answer it for us. Let them answer it.
Oh man, this is gonna pain me to say,
Oh,
but just because of and I know you, Big Mike and Mr. You wouldn't know this, but this doofus over here would. Just based off of how I am attitude-wise, I would have to say Dominic Mysterio.
I was gonna say that. Oh my god.
That's probably why I don't like him, because we're a lot alike.
You two are.
this is hilarious because when we were in pre-production, I said, I wonder how Spade's going to get the
I
name.
didn't get him in. I didn't get him in.
Man, I know that. I'm trying to defend you. Be quiet. I'm saying, I wonder how his name going to get on this show when there's nothing about no match he was in at all. And lo and behold, the person I never thought would bring his name into this EC.
It's disgusting. I'm probably gonna cry myself to sleep tonight.
Wow.
All right, so there's that one. You've got Dominic Mysterio in the role of EC. Sped, who do you think would play you?
Matt Riddle.
I was gonna say that too. Oh my god. I was sitting here going, bro, in my head.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah, he's just like, bro, yeah. But
Look,
he's gonna have a tough time doing the army thing.
Well, yeah.
Mr. You? Any thoughts? Who do you think would play you in a movie out of the WWE? Out of any wrestling?
I don't know. I'm thinking about everything. I'm thinking my height, build. I can't leave all that stuff out. Is that what you guys did? Did you leave that stuff out?
No, honestly, if I went on height and not even so much build, but just height, I'd have to say Rey Mysterio, and it makes no sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say Chad Gable, and that would make no sense just based on height.
I went more with the whole attitude and being a douche.
Yeah. They seem like more character driven choices than physical driven.
That helps out a little bit more then.
Yeah.
So I'll let you think, and I'll go ahead and give my answer. Is that and let you think for a second? So I would have to say of wrestlers that I know right now, I'd have to say Otis. For both physical and for attitude. He's goofy. He is goofy. He can still go. He's the stockier guy. I think I'm probably maybe a foot taller than Otis because I think he may be in the shorter range. So, but other than that, I like having fun. I like being goofy. I like enjoying stuff like that. And yeah, I think that would be perfect. I think he's a funny guy. He's a funny character.
That's a good
So
one.
I definitely think he would play me.
That's a good one.
All right.
I'll go
Montez Ford.
Okay. Any reasons?
I think there's a little bit of some character crossover in there, just a little bit.
Solo Cup.
Just a tad. No, not the type of cup part, just the other stuff. I think if I were doing that, if I could do a wrestling, I'd probably be a little bit on the flamboyant side, a little bit. And all that top rope stuff, I like all of that. So, yeah, I can see that.
All right. There you go. We appreciate Herb from the Herb and Raj podcast with the question. Hopefully you enjoyed the answers.
Yeah.
We will get to the last part of the night, and we will kind of go quick. I know we're a little over an hour, but we can't forget our Matchmaker Series. It is tag team division night. You have the Hardys versus the Dudleys versus the Hart Foundation versus FTR. Which team do you think will win? How do you think the match would go? And we will start with who am I going to start with first? We're going to go with Sped.
Oh man. Dang. All right.
Is this match including like weapons or anything?
It's whatever match you want to make it. When you're making the match, you're the matchmaker. You make it how you want to.
All right.
All right, yeah. Now, I would have to go Hardys on this one. TLC, ladder match between the four. I think Prime Hardys actually, as a tag team, might be better than the Dudleys, and a little bit better. Let's not get it twisted. Hart Foundation was amazing, all right, but the chemistry that actual brothers have, guys who grew up together, it shows in the ring. Like Edge and Christian, that showed in the ring right away. The Dudleys showed right away as soon as they got when they were in ECW. But Jeff and Matt being actual brothers, I think the chemistry works. FTR gets like I said, it's a TLC, so they're climbing the ladder. They got to get the titles. Jeff knocks over probably Cash, because or Dax, one of them. I see Matt getting the titles, and overall being one of those everyone standing O at the end. How we got back in the day with Edge Christian, the Dudleys, and the Hardys.
All right. EC, how do you think it goes down?
Keeping with the whole TLC theme, I mean, like you think back to those matches, it was always Matt Hardy who got thrown off the ladder, or so to be the last one thrown off up there, and before Edge and Christian would grab and win.
Yeah.
In this match, like the Dudleys, I just feel like they never even came close to winning one of these matches. They were always occupied in other parts of the match.
Yep.
I don't believe in
FTR.
Yeah, FTR at all. And as good as the Hart Foundation is, I'd have to go with the Hardys also. I think they'd finally pull one out.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. U?
TLC, so that's a nice touch. I had it down between the Hardys and the Dudleys. I think that's kind of where this where the end of the match is going to actually happen. I'll give my edge to the Hardys, man. I can just see them. It seems to be their specialty.
Yeah.
If you didn't say TLC, then I might have thought about this a little bit differently. Straight up wrestling match. I saw something else going down. Probably with FTR and the Foundation, but since you said TLC, I'm going with the Hardys here. I like them.
So that's I think all three of you guys went with the Hardys. Is that right?
Yep.
So you're not,
I
right?
guess. Well, no, I actually wasn't going to go with them either way. So if it was a straight wrestling match, I'm kind of with you. I'd probably go with the Hart Foundation just because Bret Hart's on there.
Yeah.
The best there is, best there was, best there ever will be.
Yep.
So just straight up, I would go with them. In a TLC match, look, I know they didn't have a whole lot of success in them in the WWE, but I think all out, going all in. I've always been a huge Dudley Boys fan, so I would actually go with the Dudley Boys to take everybody out and just some pure carnage. A lot of stuff going down, putting everybody through tables. So I think they would actually take it in the end, and yeah, that's for the win. I think they end up taking out the Hardy. I take that back. I think they take out FTR last. I think the Hart Foundation both take out the Hardys. Both put them in submissions. That way they can't climb the ladders and stuff like that. And that's one of the reasons that the Dudley Boys do win. That the Hart Foundation kind of incapacitates the Hardy Boys with submission holds early, and then that just leaves the door open for them.
Right.
So,
Okay.
All right, guys. So it's another show. We appreciate everybody being with us. Hopefully, everybody had a good time. So got to watch some wrestling. Got SmackDown coming up tomorrow night. And coming up next week, we'll have another episode going over some storylines. It's going to be kind of a weird show because we don't actually have a pay-per-view to go over. So it'll be all storyline, all main show driven. So we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Come in and join us. Give your thoughts on what's going on in AEW, WWE, and in TNA and everybody else. Join us again next week. Thank you guys very much for watching.
Peace.
Let's get it.